Let us now head on to the laboratory apparatus and techniques that we will be using in our standardization. I know you are all very familiar with these techniques and apparatus, but let us just have a quick rundown of these techniques and apparatus. First, we will be using our analytical balance. Analytical balance is used to measure mass and is used whenever high degree of precision is needed. Next are your graduated cylinders. It is useful for measuring liquid volumes to within about 1%. For general purpose use, but not for quantitative analysis. If greater accuracy is needed, use a pipette or your volumetric flask. Next are your beakers or your Erlenmeyer flask. It is used for mixing, transporting, and reacting, but not for accurate measurements. Okay, the volume stamp on the sides are approximate and accurate to within about 5%. So makikita nyo sa laboratory demonstration natin later on si Erlenmeyer flask at saka si beaker. Next are your volumetric flask. It has two functions, having your containing and delivering. Next are your burette. Very useful siya at mahalaga siya sa ating standardization or titration. It is used to deliver a solution in precisely measured variable volumes. And also, it is used primarily for titration, to deliver one reactant until the precise endpoint of the reaction is reached. So, katulad nga na sinabi natin kanina dito sa ating burette, siya po ang magko-contain ng ating titrant. Okay? Next are your stopcocks. It has two different types, having your glass stopcock and then your Teflon stopcock. For glass stopcock, it requires grease or your lubricating oil. However, si Teflon hindi naman na. So, it is the one who is widely used yung Teflon stopcock. Next are your laboratory notebook. The main purpose of your laboratory notebook is to be a permanent record of your experiments. During an experiment, you will use it to record data or observations necessary to complete lab reports that explain your results. So in a face-to-face setup, we can make use of your laboratory notebook or your laboratory manual to record the data that has been observed. And then these are the apparatus needed for your titration. So do not forget your burette, your stand, your measuring cylinder, the white paper under your conical flask or your Erlenmeyer flask to observe kung meron na bang changes in the color. Importante po na merong white paper under. Meron dyan yung analyte mo. And in this case, they made use of sulfuric acid and then phenolphthalein as indicator. And then yung pipette, do not forget to transfer the number or the volume of the solution needed. And then lastly, your titrant. So, hindi nakasama si aspirator. Isama na lang natin, drawing natin siya. Okay, ang ganda. And then next, the general principle of your titration is that it is based on the complete chemical reaction between the analyte and then your reagent or your titrant of known concentration. Again, let me just read. It is based on the complete chemical reaction between the analyte and the titrant of known concentration. So basically, analyte plus titrant is equals to product. Yun lang yung ini-aim natin. We wanted to see the product or the end product when you add your analyte and then your titrant. Next, ito po, paki-take note ng maigi. You have to take this in mind. Paki-take down notes kasi ito yung mga steps na ma-observe natin sa ating laboratory demonstration. So, we must listen very carefully and then dapat maging attentive tayo. Okay? Number 1, measure your laboratory reagents and dissolve it in a solution. So, kaya nabanggit natin kanina na magiging useful si analytical balance sa ating sa pag-perform natin ng ating experiment is that ito yung gagamitin kasi natin pang measure nung mass nung ating mga reagents na gagamitin natin sa ating laboratory demonstration. Okay? Importante sa analytical balance. You have to compute, measure, and dissolve your laboratory reagents in preparation for your standardization procedure. Okay, number 1, measure your laboratory reagents. Check. Number 2, typical setup for carrying out a titration. Paki-set up na yung titration setup mo. So, do not forget na higpitan ng iyong stopcock. Mahigpit na enough para makatitrate ka ng maigi. Kasi once na loose siya or maluwag siya, may chance na mag-leak or matapon yung laman ng burette, yung titrant mo. Okay? Or mabasag yung burette. The apparatus consists of a burette stand, and clamped with a porcelain base to provide an appropriate background for viewing indicator changes. So if hindi naman available si porcelain base, we can make use of a white paper instead. And wide-mouth Erlenmeyer flask containing a precisely known volume of the solution to be titrated. The solution is normally delivered into the flask using a pipette. So, kailangan natin si pipette and then your aspirator. Next, the detail of the burette graduation is that normally the burette is filled with Titan solution to within 1 or 2 ml of the zero position at the top. Again, do not forget, within 1 or 2 ml of the zero position at the top, the initial volume of the burette is read to the nearest 0.01 ml and is always in 2 decimal places. Next, before the standardization begin, the solution to be titrated, an acid in this example, is placed in the flask, and the indicator is added as shown in the photo. The indicator in this case is phenolphthalein, which turns pink in basic solution. So, hindi lang kita dapat. Yung ginamit niya dito is phenolphthalein kapag na-reach mo na yung point of equivalence, kapag same na yung ratio ni acid and then ni base, dapat magko-color na siya. Ang endpoint mo is pink, light pink. Okay? Next, during your standardization, the titrant is added to the flask with swirling until the color of the indicator persists. Katulad po nito. Habang tinatitrate mo siya, so mali lang kasi wala siyang gloves, dapat po meron tayong PPE, your personal protective equipment, in performing your experimentation. However, tama naman yung procedure niya o yung technique niya, which is to swirl yung Erlenmeyer flask habang nagtatitrate. Titrant may be added rather rapidly, but as the endpoint is approached, increasingly small portions are added. So at first, pwede namang rapid yung pag-add ng titrant to your analyte. However, kapag ka-feeling mo, ma-reach mo na talaga yung endpoint or magpapakita na yung indicator, mag-turn na siya into light pink, dapat i-decrease na natin yung volume ng titrant. Sa pag-titrate, hinay-hinay na po tayo. And then, less than half a drop of titrant should cause the indicator to change color. So, habang tinatitrate, swirl lang ng swirl. Next, the titration endpoint is that the endpoint is achieved when the barely perceptible pink color of phenolphthalein persists. Okay, in this case, pag phenolphthalein, mag-change siya into a light pink. Kung methyl orange, mag-change siya into a salmon pink naman. Okay? Next, ito yung mga examples ng mga endpoint natin in titration na iba't iba yung naging result nila. Okay? How will you say na meron siyang good endpoint kapag nag-turn siya into light pink? Okay? Ito over-titrated halata naman kasi super pink, dark pink fusion na siya. Ito din over-titrated din siya. Dark pink. Dapat po light pink ang ating endpoint. Also, this is a good endpoint. Ito naman, sobrang pale. Kinulang naman sa pag-titrate.